All right, for Democrats, at least, in the state of Utah, they're done voting. They have different times, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time for Democrats in that state. Republicans will go to 1 a.m. here. But again, we're not calling anything just yet, and that exists for all states. In fact, where voting is so crowded at all of these poll places that it could go on for hours. I get to read from former Virginia Governor Doug Wilder, who endorsed no one in this race, and I wonder if Hillary Clinton looks like she's running away with the governor, whether that changes.
Well, I think Hillary Clinton will ultimately be the nominee. It's always good to be with you, Neil.
Same here.
And you look good as usual. Even better now,
so too.
since you've lost weight and dressing better.
I thought this tie and shirt thing up on my own, but enough about me, Governor. Go ahead. Yeah.
I would say that Hillary Clinton is doing well, and I think ultimately she may be the nominee of the party. But when you consider, and I've listened to your previous guest, in my judgment, Donald Trump will be the ultimate nominee of the Republican Party. And I'm not going to go through the political punditry to say how I arrived at it, but nevertheless...
Yeah, leave that for us, Governor.
I'll leave it for you guys. Now, having said that, Hillary, as well as Donald Trump, have what I would call a mutual disadvantage. That is, they both have to unite the elements of their party before they can go out and reach to independence to say what their message is, because it has to be a party message. Neither of them have that at this point. Trump is going to need to have the more established Republicans through the years to be supportive of him. Hillary has got to reach to the people that Sanders has attracted in record numbers, and particularly the millennials, to be a part of what she's considering this continued success story. So it's a mutual disadvantage, and the jury is still out as to how that will be resolved.
You know, I want to bring my colleagues into this, including Dagan McDowell, but Dagan, hasn't the understanding been, at least among the Trump fans, that we're bringing far more into this than any other candidate ever, and that we might be ticking off some Republicans, but we're bringing far more into this, and we are the annihilators here. We're the ones who are going to, I guess, march to the White House.
And that's why Trump has done exceptionally well in, well, even closed contests now, but open contests where he's been able to bring in Democrats, people who are a little bit left of center, even union members in states, in your places in the Midwest,
that's like
for
a
Reagan
coalition.
Yeah, absolutely. So the energy, it'll be interesting to see what happens with particularly the energy that Bernie Sanders has connected with very young voters. What happens to them? To Doug Wilder's point, can they get around Hillary Clinton? Because she's continued to struggle in many states.
But these long lines are Donald Trump. I mean, he's the phenomenon of reading these lines,
and,
right?
and the interesting thing is that a lot of the voters, and Governor Wilder, I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this, but you have some voters that can't decide between whether they're going to vote for Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump. I mean, here you have a conservative Republican and a socialist Democrat, and they say, gee, I can't make up my mind. Usually they're the younger folks, but it's kind of an interesting phenomenon, isn't it?
Yeah, but not only have I never seen anything like this, America has never seen anything like
this. But it just shows how much America's fed up with the establishment. And I think the establishment is easy to define.
Well, they're not all on the same page, though, Governor, right? I mean, we were just discussing that here. Among the establishment, there's divisions with Cruz, there's division with alternatives to Cruz, to Trump. So they're not on the same page, and in your fine party, they're not on the same page when it comes to how liberal they want to be, whether liberal with Hillary Clinton or very liberal with Bernie Sanders, right?
Yeah, I don't disagree at all, but I think all of the, as I called it, punditry heretofore, it's not going to matter, because ultimately you will be ending up with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. However the magistrate takes place, once that happens, then the things that your panelists are talking about have to be accomplished. How do you reach to these various groups and bring them to us? that we never have had with us before.
Yeah, it's that dirty word called triangulation, and you know, both of these
Absolutely.
candidates are going to have to figure out how to do that. Governor, I want to ask you. You know, you've got this high voter turnout, 65% they're talking about in Arizona, and oftentimes when the economy is doing well and people are satisfied with the status quo, voter turnout is very low, and people complain about it. Is there some good news to the fact that there are so many dissatisfied Republicans out there?
I have not seen it. If it does exist, that good news part of it, people are mad at every level. And I think one of the panelists put it well when you consider people, even Democrats, particularly with labor, are saying, hey, look, we're gonna go this way. We're not going to be with Mrs. Clinton. And there is no formula for what we might end up with.
Who's a bigger
relative
mess,
to
though,
this.
Governor? Who's a more of a basket case, Democrats or Republicans?
It's so much to go around. You can't pick. And that's the dilemma that the American people find themselves with.
You're out of office. Can you
We're
go
not
ahead and
concerned.
pick? I mean,
But they're not concerned. No.
Okay.
People are fed up with party. They want people. They want be with me. Be a part of what I believe in. I wouldn't care whether you're Democrat, Republican, or mugwump. Stop telling me be devoted to the party.
interesting.
But, Governor, the Democratic Party is going to have a problem trying to get the voters who don't like or enthusiastic about Hillary Clinton, because the voter turnout is so strong for the Republicans, 3 to 4% difference in turnout in the general election. You could have a draw.
It comes down to what you've heretofore described. The crowds, the very large crowds that Bernie Sanders is drawing, the huge crowds that Trump is going. Those two crowds of people, however you want to divide them.
You drew huge crowds and you barely won, so come on. All right.
But
I
won.
I got you won exactly right, Governor. Exactly right. Always a pleasure, my friend. You said